Someone had to say it.
You know what? I guess I will be that asshole. Y'all can go ahead and unclutch those pearls because you are not the victims and you are definitely not innocent in this. For months, y'all have been out here objectifying, brutalizing, and degrading these ICE agents. You've been calling them Nazis. You've been calling them animals. You've been calling them murderers. Y'all are the ones that have been out here saying that these people need to lose their lives, that violence against them is justified. You didn't discourage it. You didn't try to walk it back. You amplified it. Y'all have been the ones out here indoctrinating all these people, telling them that these men don't deserve to breathe. So y'all don't get to sit there and act surprised when chaos actually shows up. When a woman uses her vehicle as a weapon, and then a man reacts out of fear that you created? Because for months, all he heard is people like him should be hunted down and killed. Now all of y'all are out here acting like, oh my God, how could have this happened? Hear me clearly when I say this. Fuck you! This just didn't fall out of the sky. This just didn't come out of nowhere. This is what cause and effect looks like. You don't get to sit out here and scream death to them for months, then cry victim when somebody believes you. You don't get to sit here and weaponize mobs, excuse violence, and reward extremists, and wash your hands when reality punches back. Y'all have been the ones out here teaching these people that violence is acceptable. You've been the ones that normalize it. You've been the ones that have been cheering it on. And now that it's ugly, now that it's undeniable, you want sympathy? Hell no. You don't get to light the match and pour the gasoline and dance around the fire and then cry when the flames spread. This is your rhetoric and this is your responsibility. And that woman's blood is on y'all's hands.
I don't know about you, but since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it seems like the whole nation's been on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop. What's the next crisis? What's the next emergency? Well, in case you missed it, the other shoe hit the floor this morning in Minneapolis.
You're watching the CramerSez Project.
You're watching CramerSez.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Kramer. This is the CramerSez Project. What a day, what a day, what a day, huh? We knew it was coming. Are you surprised? Are you shocked? I'm not. I've been predicting this for months, for a couple of years. We have to get here again, folks. They need a George Floyd moment, and this afternoon they got one, or this morning they got one. I've been predicting this for a while. Why? Because it's the only option they have. They need to take to the streets. And what this young lady said, well, it concerns me. Why? Well, there's an interesting thing about how nations work. Nations are held together by trust. And when trust is lost and the people don't trust anything anymore, they devolve into a number of different things. Vigilantism, so, justice, street justice. There's all these things that they do. But it starts with one thing. It's when the women say to their men, it's time to go. You have to go protect our children's future. You've got to go break the law. You've got to go stand against this. Now, I don't know if you realize, but Minneapolis is the home of mostly peaceful protesting. They stood in front of buildings that were burning to the ground and said, well, it's not as bad as it looks. It's as warm as it looks, but it's not as bad. They lied straight to your face. They tried to make you believe something that wasn't true, make you believe with their words that what you were seeing was not happening the way that it was happening. They're going to do the same thing right now. We saw what we saw today, folks. I put out a video today, and I don't know how it's doing. I'm interested to see how it performs, but I want to ask you tonight what you think of this. How would the situation be different if the parties were reversed? In the event that it wasn't a nice raid today, let's say it wasn't a nice raid. Let's say that Kamala had won and the federal agents were now rounding up people. They were going after those of us who've got a loud mouth over the last 4 years, and they're going to clean things up. And so they're getting a J6 person or a person like me, and we decide we're not going, and we decide to run, and we get shot through the front windshield, trying to flee, trying to run over a cop. What do you think? What do you think the people would be doing? What do you think that the left would be doing, the media today? Do you think that they would be cheering it? Do you think that they would be justifying it? Absolutely, they would. They'd be saying, well, he tried to run over a cop. That's what you get. But we're not hearing that tonight, are we? We're hearing the justification. It's not there. We're hearing that they want to go after the cop. Was he trained right? All these, they're not doing the same thing that they would have done if it was a J6er in that car. Now, they'll say that I'm full of shit and that I'm not right and that I'm lying and I'm just using this. No, folks, we know. We already know where they stand. This lady today had a car that she was trying to ram at a cop. We've got video of it. 5 years ago yesterday, we have video of a young lady crawling through a window and was shot in the fucking neck, murdered by Lieutenant Michael Byrd, who we just learned made $190 million from his home daycare center. How the fuck does that happen? What's the difference, folks? Ashley Babbitt didn't have a car that she was trying to ram towards an officer. She was crawling through a window. There were 2 additional officers standing behind her. Michael Byrd shot her in cold blood. The left defended that. They said that was justified. That Ashley Babbitt was a threat to everybody in that building. That little lady, 5'7", trying to get through that window, wasn't a threat to anybody. That car ramming towards that officer this morning was. Folks, you've got to realize where we are in this nation. What this young lady is saying in this piece that I just played is chilling, because the women are now giving the men permission to protect the future. That's when nations fall. I've been warning this for a while. The reason we're here is for a couple of different reasons. The first one is, excuse me, there's a group of people on this planet that want a one-world government, and they're doing everything that they can to get that. Now, they don't care how they get there. They don't care if we do it willingly or we go to war with each other, and after the war is over, they just do it to the survivors. They don't care. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a bigger plan here. All the fighting, all of this going at each other all the time, it aids. Now, I'm a strategist. That's what I do for a living. So I don't care which side of the coin this argument's on. I'm going to find a way, a path around it. Right? I want to find a solution. My client doesn't want to do this or that. I try to find a way that they don't have to do this or that, or that they do want to do this or that. How do we get them to be able to do this or that? The people who want to rule this planet, they've got people just like me on their staff. A lot of them brighter than I am. Well, I don't know if brighter. They got educations from bigger colleges. But they don't care who wins or loses as long as at the end they rule. Whoever ends up with all the gold or everything else that is being fought over. In World War II, folks, Henry Ford was building stuff for us. He was also building stuff for the Germans. And when the war is over, he sued America and won for bombing his Ford truck plant in Germany. The rich, the elite, they don't play the game like you and I do. They don't pick sides. They don't have a side. They have their side, their agenda, what they want, what they're going to achieve, what their goals are. It doesn't matter left or right, Republican, Democrat. They find that they work better with some more than others, but they'll work with all of them. They don't care. And then they end up playing us for chumps, us that pick the sides, because we believe in our heart that the world operates this way. Those at the top know that it doesn't. They've sold us a dream. They've sold us that we're free and then enslaved us. And now that they've sucked all the resources and all the value out of this nation, the value of the last 250 years, I think it's interesting that we're coming to the point of a great reset on the 250th anniversary of this nation. The entire world's broke, folks. It's all falling apart. There's nowhere to go. And the only way is to disrupt everything and reset it. Klaus Schwab, the rest of them, they wrote their books. They know history. This isn't the first time this has happened. There's only 3 ways it happens. 3 ways: pestilence, financial collapse, and war. It's the only way it happens. Go back and look at the great resets in this nation, the great resets on this planet. Bubonic plague, World War I, World War II, the Depression in this country. Those were all resets. Every time that they made a reset, something major changed in the economy as well. Every time. It goes hand in hand. And we're about to see it again. The emergency they want, for whatever reason, the end result is to get us all on the same page. They need us to be all on the same page that we want a digital ID, that we'll accept it willingly. Now, are you going to accept one? All my friends I've asked, even liberals are saying, no, I don't think so. They know what that means. They're not crazy about it. Imagine Trump comes out with a digital ID, and he's going to have a reason for it, just like Keir Starmer did. Trump's got it ready. Now, I'm pro-Trump, and I'm telling you that Trump is going to be used as a tool for what they want to do. There's going to be an emergency. We're going to have to know who you are. My son said that the big drive right now on video gaming is that the gamers are pissed off because they can get cheated so easily. And that there's no way to ID people accurately enough to keep the cheaters off the system. And that those guys are demanding a form of digital ID. Well, what's going to happen is somebody's going to realize that there's a way to sell this to the people. Oh, it'll be better for you. Nobody can cheat you anymore. You'll never be robbed, ever again. They can't get into your checking account. They can't get into your savings account. They won't be able to steal your mortgage out from underneath you, your title, none of that. If you'll just take this digital ID, it'll make everything so much better. Please do what we're asking, because if you don't, look what's happening right now in Great Britain. So there's a bigger game at foot here. What's happening today in the streets of Minneapolis leads to all of that. That's what they want. As I've been telling you, and what I do for a living, there have been times where I don't care who does what needs to be done. I just need this nudged or that nudged. I need somebody to move here, move there. If you search my name on the internet, you'll find that when people need to get their name out there and so on, that's what I'm really good at. Especially if you got a lot of money. If you got a lot of money, I'm dangerous. If you search, you'll find that I got some people in trouble with the NBA and outdoor advertising back during COVID over the Uyghurs in China. Somebody wanted attention on that. We had $300,000 budget. Only had to spend $12,000 to get exactly what they wanted. We were going to spend $300,000, didn't have to spend it, $12,000. You can search that, by the way, on the internet. The reason I'm telling you this, folks, is because there's been an effort for a long time to get us to go down a certain path. And that path is the path to our destruction. And everything that they're laying out on the path that is supposed to help save us is actually to our demise. It just leads us farther and farther and farther down the path. Are you familiar with the term Judas goat? Do you know what a Judas goat is? A Judas goat is a goat that leads the sheep to their slaughter. You see, the sheep won't go down the chutes that they need to go to be slaughtered. They won't do it. They're scared. But if you put a Judas goat up in front, they'll follow him. They'll go all the way down. Doesn't matter how far they have to go. They'll follow him all the way to their death. When they get to the very end, where the slaughter begins to happen, the handlers pull out the Judas goat. He gets to live, but everybody else behind him, all of those sheep are led to their slaughter. Today, the Judas goat is the mainstream media. They're lying to you right now. They're trying to lead us down that path. They're trying to tell us that what happened today isn't what we saw. And for that, they can justify going to war with us, going to war with the federal government. That's what Tim Walz said tonight. We've never been at war with the federal government before. That's one of the roles of the National Guard, he says. Tim Walz going to war with Donald Trump? That takes courage, but we knew he had courage when he put those tampons in the boys' room.
You're watching the CramerSez Project.
Global news with local views. CramerSez returns after this message from our partners.
For decades, the Smith-Mundt Act protected Americans from U.S. government propaganda meant for foreign audiences.
But in 2012, the Modernization Act gutted those safeguards, allowing taxpayer-funded misinformation to flood our media and minds.
Over the last 10-plus years, we've seen the damage.
Take COVID-19 messaging as an example.
The government pushed relentless vaccine campaigns and lockdowns, often suppressing dissenting science, leading to widespread distrust and division.
Election narratives.
Federal agencies amplified Russia collusion stories and censored social media, influencing public opinion and elections under the guise of fighting disinformation.
Climate change agendas.
Billions in funding promoted alarmist green policies, downplaying economic impacts and alternative views to push globalist initiatives.
This isn't freedom, it's manipulation.
Urge President Trump to overturn the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act and restore protections against domestic propaganda.
Take action today. Sign the petition now and make your voice heard while you still have the chance.
To learn more about the CramerSez Project, our mission, and how you can become a part of it, please visit thecramersezproject.com.
You're watching CramerSez.
I want to go back. For those who have joined here later, we opened the show with a piece from a young lady that I want everybody to see. I'm going to play this one more time. Take a listen at this. Watch this.
Someone had to say it.
You know what? I guess I will be that asshole. Y'all can go ahead and unclutch those pearls because you are not the victims and you are definitely not innocent in this. For months, y'all have been out here objectifying, brutalizing, and degrading these ICE agents. You've been calling them Nazis. You've been calling them animals. You've been calling them murderers. Y'all are the ones that have been out here saying that these people need to lose their lives, that violence against them is justified. You didn't discourage it. You didn't try to walk it back. You amplified it. Y'all have been the ones out here indoctrinating all these people, telling them that these men don't deserve to breathe. So y'all don't get to sit there and act surprised when chaos actually shows up. When a woman uses her vehicle as a weapon, and then a man reacts out of fear that you created, because for months, all he's heard is people like him should be hunted down and killed. Now all of y'all are out here acting like, oh my God, how could have this happened? Hear me clearly when I say this. Fuck you! This just didn't fall out of the sky. This just didn't come out of nowhere. This is what cause and effect looks like. You don't get to sit out here and scream death to them for months, then cry victim when somebody believes you. You don't get to sit here and weaponize mobs, excuse violence, and reward extremists, and wash your hands when reality punches back. Y'all have been the ones out here teaching these people that violence is acceptable. You've been the ones that normalize it. You've been the ones that have been cheering it on. And now that it's ugly, now that it's undeniable, you want sympathy? Hell no. You don't get to light the match and pour the gasoline and dance around the fire and then cry when the flames spread. This is your rhetoric and this is your responsibility. And that woman's butt is on y'all's hands.
I don't know about you, but since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it seems like the whole nation's been on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop. What's the next crisis? What's the next emergency? Well, in case you missed it, the other shoe hit the floor this morning in Minneapolis.
You're watching the CramerSez Project.
That's the way I'm looking at it. You should too. They've been warning us for years what they're going to do, folks, what they want to do. I'm not an alarmist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This isn't hyperbole. It isn't fear porn. It's none of the things that they call it. It's the reality of where we are. Somebody said today that they made the comment, and the reason I keep playing this young lady's video is because I think that conservative men have to understand where we are, what comes next in this nation. We're seeing what they have set for us unfolding. It's undeniable. They're not going to pull back. If you heard the rhetoric today from the governor of Minnesota as well as the mayor of Minneapolis, the rhetoric was to amp things up, to make things worse, not better, worse. And they're doing that for one reason. They don't want their state looked at. I mean, it's clear. They don't want anybody there. They're using any excuse they can to get everybody out of Minnesota. But what's California going to have to do? What are the other states that have this fraud and corruption? Ohio. What is DeWine in Ohio going to have to do? You've got to start thinking about the bigger picture of what's going on here. This young lady, what she gives me is hope. Because it's not men who decide to go to war. It's not men who decide to give their lives. It's when their women say it's time. You've got to do what's right and defend our children, defend their future. That starts by this language right here. By women telling the other women that are driving this craziness, we're going to unleash our men on you. If you don't stop your crazy, batshit, crazy bullshit, we're done with it. You see, folks, I don't think you understand. What we're living through is max feminization of everything. Everything is about feelings and what makes you feel good and does it feel like you're being assaulted or feel like you're being oppressed. It doesn't matter if you really are. It doesn't matter if it's all in your head. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. All that matters is that you're the victim and they're the oppressor and they got to pay you. They got to give you something. You get something out of this deal. And these idiots are willing to go into the streets one day and say, we're here for no kings. The next day they're out there saying, put the dictator back. You cannot make this shit up, folks. And a friend of mine said that, and I agree with him 100%, that there's no way we will ever be able to compromise with these people. We will never be able to reason with these people. With the people that can't confirm that a woman is a woman and a man is a man, how can you get any deal done? They will switch the terms. They will switch the definitions. They will call you a racist, a xenophobe, just for doing what you're supposed to do, just for upholding the law. They will do that. We know that because they're doing it right now. That's what they're doing right now. Brave men and women of ICE going out there picking up illegals that are in this nation. And the media, and the left, the NGOs, groups like Soros, Reid Hoffman, Bill Gates, they're all involved. These are not names that we throw around just because we like to throw them around. These are the people driving this. I'm working on a documentary right now about George Soros and his money and where it goes and the organizations that he plays with and works with and supports and the things that they do and the dirty deeds behind. I'm hoping to have the next piece wrapped up by next weekend. So we'll be releasing it here fairly soon. But folks, I'm telling you that where we are in this nation, the women of this nation are the ones who are going to put us back on track. It's when you get angry enough and you say, we can't do this anymore. How does that happen? Well, it starts at least with not being able to make ends meet. In Indianapolis yesterday, or on Monday rather, 37 men were released from their positions with the plumbing company here in Indianapolis. 37. Just after the holidays, they probably thought everything's going to be fine. There's people out there that want to blame this on Donald Trump. Trump didn't have anything to do with it. That company over-leveraged themselves. They did that during Biden's years. Now, I don't know if they're Republican or Democrat. Doesn't really matter. But they're in a bad situation. The reason I say that is each one of their trucks cost $100,000, plus another 15 to 20 to gear it up. That includes the signage and advertising, all the stuff they had to put in those vehicles. That comes to somewhere about $3.7 to $3.9 million of inventory they're just going to allow to sit on their lots. and rot. Why? They can't pay the men to drive them, which means they probably can't pay for the note on those trucks either. Or maybe that's what they're trying to do, is just keep everything afloat. But Peterman Brothers in Indianapolis is in trouble. You see, they over-leveraged. The economy turned. We're right back where we were in 07, 08. Trump is trying to save it. That's what all of this in Venezuela is about. It's getting the Americas in line, getting out of competition with China and the others, where we're in a position where it doesn't matter what they do. We have the ability to do everything that we need in the Americas. Trump is America first. And for those in South America that can see what's happening, they're looking at it as make the Americas great again. Not just America, the Americas. It's a lot cheaper to make these people self-sufficient and able to stand on their own 2 feet than it is to build and defend a wall at the southern border. It's better to raise all ships. That's what Trump's trying to do. Fuck the rest of the world. Fuck them. We don't need them. But what about? They're making decisions that are self-destructive. If we follow the path of Europe, within 50, 60, 70 years, this country would be Muslim if we followed their path. Europe will be Muslim within the next 7 to 10 years. We're going to see major moves that happen. And London will be one of the first cities to fall. The financial capital of the world. That's where everything is done. All the money is done out of London. Folks, if you think it's going to get better with the people that are in charge, let me remind you of something. In the 1770s, when our founding fathers had a problem with their government, and they went to their government and they said, hey, listen, we got a problem. And the government was so corrupt and so big and didn't worry. They just wanted to continue the status quo. And that government said no. What were their options? Well, to continue the status quo or change it. You're going to have to be prepared for that part of it. Because there's a good chance that Trump's not going to make it through the 4 years. That he's not going to survive the next 3 years. Everyone on the planet wants that man dead. Everyone. It's like that show, Everybody Hates Chris. And it only takes one person to be lucky. One group to be lucky. One country to be lucky. How many attempts have they had so far that we know about? 2. How many that we don't know about? How many have they foiled that they didn't say anything about? Tim Walz is trying to shove this off as a problem, that he's at war with the federal government. He knows he's in trouble. You can see it on his face. He's scared shitless. He looks so disheveled and out of shape, and I didn't think he could get more like a scared dog. You know, you get those little tiny dogs that are always fucking shaking like that. That's Tim Walz. He knows that this is the end. They all do. So they'd rather start World War III. They'd rather start a civil war. That's why they're amping everything up. That's why the left is amping everything up. They got their George Floyd moment. Let's go, baby. We've got it on film. He shot that lady. They were going to try and do it with an illegal that had been shot for firing a gun into the air celebratorily on New Year's Eve. They were going to start there, but it was an illegal with a gun. He's not supposed to have it. It's going to be a hard sell. Moving on. Oh, white lady, a lesbian, gets shot trying to drive her car into a cop. We can make that work for us. Shit. We convinced the entire world to go to war with each other over a drug addict who died of a drug overdose in the streets of Minneapolis. Yeah, we can do that. It was Minneapolis, right? Was that right? George Floyd? I don't remember where he died. There's been so many. They keep using the same excuses over and over again. I keep telling you that these people ain't real smart, but they are ruthless. I've read their books. I've gone to their seminars. I've talked to them. I've debated them. I keep asking them, why are you guys so fucking crazy? They don't know. I mean, what do you expect from a group that can't even, determine what a woman is? The women of this nation are going to be the ones to save this nation. I don't know why my mouth is so dry tonight, but the women of this nation are going to be the one to save this nation. You realize that, right? The men are sitting back, and the reason is because we're comfortable. We're comfortable because we have great lives. We live in America. America is the richest nation on the face of the earth, the richest nation that the world has ever seen, ever, the most technically advanced. Oh no, I've seen China. China stole all that shit. If they'd had to develop it, they couldn't have afforded to do with what they're doing with it. They didn't spend the billions that it took to do that. We did. Those are our cities. China better watch the fuck out. Everybody on the planet better watch the fuck out. Why? Well, because Trump is showing you exactly what I've been telling you. He's showing you that he's the bully. He's telling the entire world what he's going to do. We're going to take over South America. We're going to take over Greenland. Denmark, fuck off. Europe, fuck off. Macron came after him. The EU came after him. NATO came after him. And what did he say? Fuck off. Why? He's the bully. What are they going to do? What is Europe going to do? What's Greenland going to do? What's Denmark going to do? Nothing. Neither is Russia. Neither is China. It's my opinion that what Trump is doing is putting the world back in order. Going back to the Monroe Doctrine. We control this channel right here, the Western Hemisphere. This is us, baby. You motherfuckers do whatever the fuck you want to do over there. We're not coming to defend you. We're not going to say fuck ya. Well, what about all the great things of... Listen, the culture of Europe is being rewritten by Muslims. In 50 years, that culture that you think of as Europe is gone. Trump doesn't want to get messed up in that. He doesn't want to go defend it. He doesn't want to be a part of the Crusades 2.0. Actually, that's not correct. There were several crusades, not just one. There were several. This situation that we're in right now, with the spread of Islam around the world, that's happened several times. Never to the extent that it is right now. Trump's trying to save us. America first. The Americas first. We have everything we need here. We don't need to go to China. Think about this. We could save our economy by creating cheap labor manufacturing in South America and making it free, right? There's no trade. There's no trade restrictions among these nations. They can just be free. But you've got to have capitalism. You can't be a socialist nation. You can't have a dictator. The people have to rule. That's what they're talking about. And when you give people the opportunity to have the same freedom that we have here, they will not be coming up here. And the people that are here, they'll want to go home. They'll want to go back to their families, where they are, where they can have the same lifestyle they can have here. That's the dream of what Trump is trying to produce. You can't see it because it gets dirty, it gets nasty. To do that, well, you got to step on some toes. That's what he's doing right now. He's the bully. He's telling them exactly what he's going to do. I'm a bully. Before I slap somebody in the face, I tell them I'm going to slap you in the fucking face. I'm going to knock your fucking teeth down your throat. I tell them exactly what I'm going to do to them. I want them to understand I'm not fucking around. I don't think what you're doing is funny. It's not a joke. I'm not taking it as a joke. And you should take what I'm saying seriously. And the more you laugh about it, bam, all of a sudden now you got a tooth missing. I told you. That's what Trump is doing to the entire planet. He's putting them back in their place. There are 192 countries, I think it is. 192 countries. I do know the other number. I think there's 192 countries on the face of the earth, but I know for sure that there's 177 of them that we send money to. We help out 177 nations around the planet. You go to work, send your taxes in, and those motherfuckers send it to somebody else on the planet. For what reason? Does that benefit you? Doesn't benefit me. I know it doesn't help me. The only people it helps is them. When we get back around to where we get things aligned, folks, things are going to get a lot better. But the problem we have to overcome is the feminization of this country. Did you notice that the person who got shot today was a woman? Did you notice she was a lesbian? Did you notice that the other person that was with her in the vehicle behind her that didn't get shot was also a woman? She was part of the protest as well. They were following the cops. They let everybody know what they were doing. Did she seem like she got targeted? Well, I guess she did. She was the one at the front. She blocked the road. Why did I bring up the part about the lesbian and everything else? Because, folks, the feminization goes through that group. Lesbianism is ultimate feminization. They don't need men in any way. They're the fighters of craziness. It's estimated it was the lesbians that started the craze in New England. Right? When they started going after the witches. Remember that? Salem witch trials. A lot of researchers think that it's a possibility that some of those women were lesbians. They're the evilest of the evil. When they're evil. Not all of them are evil. Nobody's a monolith. But when you take things to an extreme, you get to the end. Only 2%, and I think this is interesting, only 2% of Americans were slave owners. Did you know that? Just 2%. All of us are paying for it today, but just 2% were slave owners. Of those 2%, 41% were women. And if you go back and read what researchers have found out, the women were the evilest slave owners among all of them. That's, again, ultimate feminization when you're at the top. You've got a lot of money, a lot of power, and a lot of people below you. You can do whatever you want. The moment that happens, you'll show who you are. That's what I've been saying for a long time. If you let people speak long enough and loud enough, they'll tell you who they are. They'll tell you what their plans are for you. Everything that I talk about is coming from their mouths, what they want to do, what they want to achieve. And who are they using to do that? These crazy fucking women. And the crazy men who think they're women. That's who's executing these plans over and over and over again. It's not a at some point the trend becomes a stereotype, right? And you start going, maybe we ought to look at this group over here. And then all the gays and all the lesbians and all the sexual groups, they all align together, and all of a sudden they're marching because they're rights. No, from time to time, people in your communities are dangerous. And you won't point the finger back at them. And if you won't, we will. We're not doing this game anymore. Those people are fucking dangerous to our community. What would the left be doing if the roles were reversed? What would they be doing today? They'd be praising that officer for his bravery, for doing what he did. If that was a J6er that was trying to escape the feds, instead of somebody protesting ICE, the left would be saying right now that what he did was justified. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. How do I know that? Because of what they said about what happened to Ashley Babbitt. Murdered by Lieutenant Michael Byrd. Now we learn that he has somewhere in the ballpark of $190 million that he made from his daycare. Why would you even work? Why would you be working for the federal government if you were making $190 million from your home daycare? How is that possible? The young lady that we've been talking about tonight, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I should have written it down, I guess. Her anger, justified anger, is what we should all be doing. Your future of your children is going to be protected by your rage today. You've got to start getting angry enough to do something. I'm not talking about going into the streets and blowing people away. That's not the answer. There's two options. There's two options before we even have to get to that. The first one is get the attention of your local politicians, your legislature. Start holding them accountable locally. DC's not going to change, folks. Tim Burchett keeps saying that. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. Thanks for sending me here, but I don't think I can do anything. Why? He realized how corrupt it is. He can't change it. He says he's the 435th least powerful man in D.C. Think about that. That's the way he views himself as a congressman. Powerless. Can't do anything. Now, if he can't do anything there, why go there? That's not where the problem is. Have you thought about that? That's not where the problem is. The problem is at home. Home isn't holding D.C. accountable. State rights overpower federal rights. There are no federal rights. Federal authorities. States have rights, just like we do. States have the power to tell the federal government to fuck off. Fuck off! And if your federal government isn't telling, if your local government isn't telling the federal government to fuck off, then your local government needs changed. How do they allow our educational system to be taken over by these men and women in D.C.? Have they done something that's so great that they deserve the $1.5 trillion that they've received since they started the Department of Education? No. Man, my mouth is dry tonight. No. Everything has gotten worse. Johnny can't read. You know, we had some Johnny can't reads when I was in school. There was a few of them, but not as many as they are now. You know what we didn't have? Johnny wants to kill everybody's. We didn't have those. You guys invented those. The Department of Education introduced those. We were able to bring our guns to school. Yeah, in Martinsville, Indiana, I was in school, there was a 22 club. I think they met twice a month. And they shot on the school, I think they shot on the school grounds for a while until somebody complained and they went out someplace else. But that's my recollection of what happened in Martinsville in the 1980s. We were able to bring guns to school then and not now. Why? Because things haven't gotten better, they've all gotten worse. The reason they've gotten worse is because of the feminization of this country. Feminines don't want to punish people. They want to care for them. Maybe we can fix them. It's the little girl sitting at her table with the dolly that's broken its arm, crying that she can't fix it. Well, a lot of these wacko feminists have gotten into the position to where they're going to fix all this shit. Did you hear about the car that was designed by all women? And by the way, this isn't women bashing. I'm just telling you what feminization does. How crazy it goes. Women designed a car, they didn't design a hood on it. Seems like a big waste of metal, you know. Why do you need the hood? The only reason you ever get in there is to change the windshield wiper fluid. They just leave a little port on the side of the car where you put the windshield wiper fluid. Designed the car to do all kinds of different things. It was useless. Why? Because it was ultra feminized. You can't go to the extremes in anything. Men are solution providers generally, not women typically. They're caretakers. They're really good. And what I'm talking about, folks, this is not a monolith. You may be on the outside of this, right? Well, Kramer's really coming down on women tonight. No, feminization. Crazy feminization. Remember when I think it was Rush called them the feminazis? Do you think anything's changed since he came on the air and started bitching about them almost 50 years ago? Absolutely not. They're still out there. But today, instead of looking what they looked like back in the 80s and 90s, they have green hair. Or, even worse, they're DEI directors. Did you see the new number that there was 300, was it 300,000? Yeah, is it 300,000? Yeah, I think it's 300,000. There were 300,000 jobs. 300,000 jobs added to the S&P 500, if I'm correct on this. Don't quote me, but the gist of it is correct. And these are the biggest users. I'm sorry, the top 100. The top 100, not the S&P 500. The top 100 companies, and 300,000 people went to these organizations. And what percentage of those 300,000 do you think were white men? Take a guess. What percentage? 70%? 60%? 50%? 6%. 6%. Yet white men over the last 4 years were erased from corporate America. Who'd they replace them with? White women. In particular, white liberal women. There was a lot of attention paid, my understanding, to the social media accounts of these women, what they were for. Men were kicked out. The solution providers were kicked out. The people that say that they care for everybody got rid of white men over the last 4 years. Nope, not a myth. If you go to my account on social media, you'll see the video that I'm talking about, where on a talk show they describe and they tell exactly where you can find that study. There's no reason for me to lie or make it up. I don't need to. I got the truth on my side. I keep telling you, truth stands on its own. It doesn't need you, it doesn't need me, and it definitely isn't scared of lies. It's the truth.
You're watching the CramerSez Project.
Global news with local views.
From the halls of Congress
Across the nation,
and around the globe.
you're getting the latest news and conservative views.
You're watching the CramerSez Project.
Global news with local views.
CramerSez returns after this message from our partners.
They lied about it. They tried to hide it.
It was 100% unconstitutional. That's what we were saying in 2024.
I could have sworn that yesterday we learned that the FBI tapped my phone.
And today, the NLPC has been vindicated by Senator Grassley's document dump, revealing Jack Smith illegally and unconstitutionally spied on American citizens.
Jack Smith spied on members of the United States Senate. What is this, East Germany?
Grassley's document dump has revealed that Jack Smith's team illegally seized call logs from Ron Johnson, Lindsey Graham, Mike Lee, and Josh Hawley in the unconstitutional 2023 Arctic Frost Probe.
From the outset, we said Jack Smith's appointment was unconstitutional. A federal judge vindicated that view. Now we see the connection between unconstitutional prosecutions and illegal evidence gathering.
The NLPC has been on top of this story from the beginning. Follow or subscribe to the NLPC on this platform for more. Or visit the National Legal and Policy Center at nlpc.org.
To learn more about the CramerSez Project, our mission, and how you can become a part of it, please visit thecramersezproject.com.
You're watching CramerSez.
Welcome. My name is Kramer. This is the CramerSez Project, and it's January 7th. I think it's odd that what happened today, 5 years and a day from January 6th. We talked about that last night. I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I had left the Capitol by the time Ashley Babbitt was shot. I was in a Subway Subway shop getting a Subway sandwich when there was a cop in there waiting to get a sandwich, and the report came over his radio that there had been shots fired at the Capitol, yada, yada, yada. We know all the rest. Ashley Babbitt was shot coming through a window, folks. She didn't have a deadly weapon. She wasn't trying to go after anybody or kill anybody or escape a lawful legal order. Michael Byrd didn't yell anything at her. He poked his head out, pointed his gun, and fired. That's murder. Now he's sitting on $190 million that somehow he accrued in his home daycare. All this needs to be investigated. All of it needs to be looked into, especially after the corruption that we found in Minnesota. But they're going to play the victim. It's what they do. It's oppressor, 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 And once you slap him in the mouth, then it's victim, 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 victim. It's the same game all over again. Shampoo, rinse, repeat. I keep telling you that they're bullies. This is the process. How do I know? Because Trump is doing the exact same thing right now. If you're watching what he's doing, he's a bully. He's telling them what he's going to do. We really need Greenland. We're probably going to take Greenland. Yep, Greenland's ours. What are they going to do? He knows they're not going to do anything. They're not going to rise up against him. And what did Denmark say? What did they threaten? Well, if you take Greenland, NATO's over. Really? Really? We'll be out from underneath that? You guys will have to defend yourself from Russia? Good luck with that. See ya. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Do you see what Trump is lining up? Now, the people that are out there that are against this, they're out there for two reasons. The first reason is they don't know. They're just part of the group out here screaming and yelling. But the other group is losing out. Because what Trump is doing is he's shutting off all of their avenues of money. That's why he went after USAID. That's why he went after Venezuelan drug money. Those drugs don't come to the U.S. The path that those drugs go, have you ever seen the movie The French Connection? Trump just shut down the French Connection. It's been running since the 1970s. It's so famous that they made a movie about it. The smuggling path has not changed. The elite of Europe are suffering. That's why Trump feels so safe in saying, fuck you. What are you going to do? That's what the bully does. This is a bully. That's what we're seeing in the White House right now. How do I know? I'm a bully. It's what I would do. It's the force that I would use to get my way. And for the right reasons. Trump doesn't want to, and he said this many times, he doesn't want to be an imperialist. If you listen to him closely, he thinks that the Western Hemisphere can be the Americas, not the United States everywhere. No. But we maintain freedom for the people. So that they don't have to come clamoring through our back door, using up all of our services, and so that the NGOs aren't doing what they're doing. You see, Trump is killing everything. The NGOs are dead. Marco Rubio, I think it was 2 days ago, said, we're done funding them. It's over. So who's screaming the loudest? Well, the biggest pigs at the trough, those getting the most money, billions, hundreds of billions, over and over and over again. And they turn around and use that money against us, we the people. We talk about Soros all the time, but Soros is not funding these groups to the tune that the U.S. government is. We've given them billions. He's given them hundreds of millions, maybe a couple billion. We've given them hundreds of billions. And they use those funds against we the people. So no, they're not the victims. They're not the ones that lost out today. You know who lost out? Their cause. Because what's going to happen is, I don't know if you've seen the video so far, it looks like an insurrection tonight at the federal building, the federal courthouse in Minneapolis. This afternoon they had to be shoved out. Then they started banging and smashing the windows. Somebody must have told them to stop. They stopped to the point after the windows got smashed in to a little bit, just a little extent. Somebody was smashing a fire suppressor into it. And somebody came and told them to stop. I wonder why. We don't want to fall into Trump's trap. What's Trump's trap? Trump's trap is keep playing. Fuck up at the federal building. We'll institute martial law. As I've been telling you folks, it's going to escalate and it's going to get faster and faster. There's going to be a moment. I'm not an alarmist. You saw what happened today. You're watching what's happening tonight in Minneapolis. You know what's going to happen in the next few days. They've got their new George Floyd moment. They're running with it. Did you see the performative press conferences this afternoon? The mayor of Minneapolis, Dan Goldman, calling it murder. That the officer should be pulled in for murder. Let me remind you, he was saying that Trump was a traitor. and that Trump had stolen it. He wanted to impeach him twice. He was on that board twice. At some point, we've got to say that enough is enough. And I think that the women of this nation, they're doing just that. The women of this nation that realize that their children don't have a future under this plan. Their children will not be able to achieve the American dream because the American dream will be gone. I keep telling you what I think is going to happen long term, but in the near future, you're going to have to determine which side of this you're going to line up on. And to the women of America that are concerned about their children, they better start wrapping their head around the fact that their men are going to have to make a sacrifice. As I was saying earlier, and I hope to God that Trump can pull this off. I don't think he's going to. Everyone on the planet is against him. Country after country after country. They think they're losing out. They're calling Trump an imperialist. The plan is easy to see if you look at it for what it is. The Monroe drop, I can't even see it. My mouth is so dry. I don't know. My medicine did this tonight. I don't know what's going on. Somebody said that I was drinking. I was going, I wish I had a drink right now. I just took a drink. That's the best I got. But Trump is putting the Monroe Doctrine back in place. And that says we're only worried about our lane. Fuck the rest of the world. They're crazy out there. Do you think that we don't know what a man and woman is? Do you think that bullshit originated here? Nope. Overseas. Well, what about our allies? What about them? What benefit do we have anymore? They're not acting in their own best interest. They opened their borders to the entire world. We will not be the defenders of the entire world. That's what Trump is saying. You want to correct these issues? Correct them. But we will not be your soldiers when you need the soldiers for the next crusade. You did this to yourselves. Now, my concern is, and some others, is that as much as I like this idea, my only pushback would be, okay, in the event that that's the case, that we're going to be over here by ourselves, right? Becoming essentially, on the international scale, a paper tiger. We're going to allow these nations, these Western nations, to fall to Islam. These nations that have nuclear weapons in their arsenals, we're going to turn these nations over to a group of people who want to annihilate us as infidels. See, that's, I think, long term. If they fall, all the stuff that they have, they're going to fall with, just like when we left Afghanistan. They got all of our shit. They're now driving it around the Middle East, threatening other nations with it. Our shit. The women of America have to start thinking about the future of America. Stop being concerned about the comforts of now. You've got to realize what you want for your children, what future you want for your children. If you look back at what happened both during the Revolutionary War and the Civil War, the women kissed their men goodbye and they didn't leave for a year or 2 or 3, or they left until the war was over. And if they were lucky, they were able to return. The reason I'm talking this way is because, folks, I don't think that Trump is going to be allowed to survive and continue his plan. As bold as it is and as powerful as it is, I don't think that he can get enough people on board to understand what's going on. We live in a world right now, but they're trying to make it a one-world government. They've been very clear about it. Trump is trying to isolate us from that. Let them have their one world on that side of the planet. They want to duke it out, let them duke it out. But if they fuck with us, well, what about international trade? What about international trade? What do we need that we don't have here? All the technology of this planet came from this country. Well, that's not true. Yeah. Yeah, it is. We're the one that has all the alien spaceships. Where do you think that shit's coming from? Folks, by isolating this nation from the rest of the planet and their craziness, we can sit it out. Let them duke it out. They want to kill each other. They want to have DEI and wokeness and all that bullshit. Let them have it. But not here. And if you've got a problem with that, well, you're free to leave too. Folks, that's the ultimatum that's coming down. That's the ultimatum from the bully. You can see it. If you look at it from the standpoint of the playground, Trump is telling the world, fuck off. This is what we're going to do. We're doing it for this reason. And if you want to still step up, if you're feeling froggy, jump, frog. It's not going to get better, folks. It's going to get worse. They're going to turn the situation in Minneapolis into a George Floyd moment. You can already see it ramping up. And the only thing that you can do, the only thing that you can honestly do to be on the right side of this is understand that we've been through this before. Go back and look. Go back and look at the tapes from 2020. Go back and look at the tapes of 2016. Tell the lie is debunked, defend it as misunderstood, right? They spin it in. We went from Russia, all through that, right back to Russia. Like I said, they're not real smart, but they are ruthless.
The CramerSez Project will return
after this important message.
Introducing Tusk.
With Tusk, you get uncensored news and secure browsing,
all while protecting your privacy.
Choose the news you trust and take control of your internet.
Join the free speech revolution with Tusk.
Download Tusk today at tuskbrowser.com.
Are you frustrated with the opinions and agendas the mainstream media calls news? Join the CramerSez Project, a grassroots movement to save free speech and deliver unfiltered truth powered by everyday Americans. We're building the first people-powered news network, 24/7 streaming, citizen journalism, and real facts without spin. If you're ready to dive in and fight for liberty, head to thecramersezproject.com today and sign up to become part of the team or put your name on the list to be notified when subscriptions are available. Join us today at thecramersezproject.com.
To learn more about the CramerSez Project, our mission, and how you can become a part of it, please visit thecramersezproject.com.
You're watching CramerSez.
Welcome. My name is Kramer. This is the CramerSez Project. It is January 7th, 2026. 5 years ago and a day ago, I was standing at the bottom of the stairs and looking up at the Capitol. We played that footage last night. We've come a long way, but we're not where we need to be yet. And over the last 5 years, if you've not learned anything, you should have learned this. If you haven't learned anything else, you should have learned this, that things aren't going to get better unless people are held accountable. And nobody's telling anybody who should be held accountable. There's no outrage because we don't know anything. Mainstream media doesn't do what they're supposed to do. The mainstream media is the fourth wall, the fourth estate. They're supposed to protect us with information about the people that are ruling us. But what they've done is they've been mesmerized. They've been mesmerized by all the power and everything else. They can be part of it. They can rub elbows with it. That's why they don't report on it anymore. When's the last time you heard a major report on anything in this country? Anything that really proved to be true? We heard about all the J6ers. All that was lies. All made up. Have you heard about a vaccine that didn't do what it was supposed to do, that it wasn't nearly as safe and effective as we were told it was? No. They don't do it anymore. That's what the CramerSez Project is about. Now, For those of you who have sent information or sent your emails in and stuff, and I appreciate it, I got to say up front that it's been this month. December has been one hell of a month for CramerSez. First of all, I got sick. Then my wife got sick, and then I started working on this documentary and got into it fairly deep. And I'm on a timeline, and so I have not been able to answer any of these emails, and I will be doing that here in the next couple of days. I want to first thank everybody. There are thousands. So thank you so much for joining in and being a part of this. What our goal is to long-term deliver a streaming product that is similar to it's a network. And there would be 24/7 streaming. News would be the number one thing, but there would be other shows long-term, not at the beginning, but it'd be news, starting with documentaries. And these documentaries are deep dives into what's really going on, looking at the kind of work that James O'Keefe does, but putting it on the broadcast level. James does great work, but it's a little trashy sometimes, James. You got to clean up your act. I tried to have you hire me and stylize it for you, but anyway. But give news. Dig deep. Find out what's really going on, and then expose it. The platforms allow us to do a lot. But one of the things that platforms won't allow us to do is share information that they don't want. There needs to be some place, a center where that can be found. So the CramerSez project is a little bit different in what we're going to be doing. We intend, if possible, we're going through the technology right now, but if possible, is to be able to use blockchain in storing information. So it can't be moved out. It can't be taken. It can't be modified, or it can't be wikified. Go to Wikipedia. Go to Wikipedia, and go in and change something. Now, they'll change it back. But that's how easy it is to modify stuff on Wikipedia. That shouldn't be possible. And we're seeing media outlets today, and we're talking about major ones. The New York Times, for example, going back and rewriting articles without modifying or telling you that they've modified the article. They don't say edited, and they don't give you the original version or show you the strike-throughs of what they changed. They just change it. That's not journalism, folks. That's not reporting. That's propaganda. We've got to stop it in this nation. If we want a true free speech, then the truth has to be able to be out there. And that's what the CramerSez project is about. We want to be able to do streaming news, streaming shows, talk shows, debates, family entertainment. That's all long-term. But we start with documentaries of diving deep into what's going on. What Nick Shirley is doing up in Minnesota is awesome. That type of work, but on a national scale. And we're going to need your help to do it. I'm self-funding a lot of this right now, but at some point we're going to need subscribers, so we'll talk about that at some point. But if you're a journalist, if you're a former news person, or an old DJ like myself that knows how to talk, knows how to put a story together, knows how to dig into something, research it, we want to talk to you. We don't have any money, right? It's a grassroots movement. We're doing a grassroots movement from the ground up. But today, the technology is to the point where we can be just as big as the networks. Doing what they do at that scale, it'll look and feel the exact same way. I'm doing what I'm doing right here from a bedroom in my home. Didn't take that much. Broadcasting to the world. We take it to the next notch, it'll be streaming to where you can get it on every device. 24/7. That's what the goal is. Now, I built my business by using other people's money. What I mean by that is I didn't use any of my own money, and I don't want to use anybody else's money until we're to the position that we need to do that. We'll deliver a product. And that product is truth. We hope you join us. My name is Tim Kramer. This is the CramerSez Project. We'll see you back again as soon as we can. See you then.
Thank you for watching CramerSez Live.
This concludes this broadcast.
Please follow, like, and subscribe to be notified the next time
The CramerSez Project goes live.